Hi, and welcome to Seesaw Project. I am Beth Bojarski here in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Happy Thursday to everybody. Thank you for choosing to join us tonight with so much vying for your attention. I'm going to, at this moment, throw my support behind my team. Go Pack Go. They have a game tonight. The Seesaw Project was put together by 3 working artists looking for a new way to connect with you, our collectors, and art appreciators after our season of shows was canceled. I'm an oil painter, and I'm going to have Max pull up a picture of mine so you can see what I do. That's what I do. This one is called Heartburn. Who doesn't have a little heartburn these days? Thanks, Max. You certainly don't want me doing this alone. So let's bring in my friend and fellow host, Kina Crow.
Hi. Kina. Hello. Hi, Beth.
Hi, Kina.
Nice to see you. Happy Thursday.
Happy Thursday.
Night. I'm Kina Crow. I'm a working artist and a mixed media artist. I'm living in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. I'm part of the Seesaw Project. And I want to tell you about the chat functions on either YouTube or Facebook. However, if you're watching us live, thank you for coming. Please say hello in the chats and make sure that you can follow us on Facebook. Like us, follow us, hit subscribe to the YouTube channel, hit the little bell, and it'll let you know when we've got a new episode coming up. I want to show you my work. That's me. That's what I do. That's what I make. And now it's time to bring on the third and intellectual part of our trio is Chris Dahlquist.
Hi.
Hi, Chris.
Good to see y'all tonight. I am a photographer living in Kansas City, Missouri. Max, can you show them a piece of my work? I'm bringing you just a little piece of peace tonight amongst all of the chaos. And we hope our whole show will bring you a little respite from everything that's going on tonight. Tonight's show is going to be a little bit different format, but we're going to have the segments that you have come to love. We're going to ask collectors about their artwork. We're going to surf the web to introduce you to a good friend of ours from Austin, Texas. And each of us are going to show you a video sharing a little bit of our own art collections and how we live with art. And we're going to have Seesaw shout-outs that are just a little bit different than usual. In our shout-out this week, we are going to show you what some of our shout-out artists' artwork and our artwork looks like in home and office environments. Sometimes on the computer screen, it's really hard to tell what these might look like and the scale of them. So we're hoping to bring a little bit of that to you. So before we get on with our shout outs, we got one more member of our team to introduce you to, and that is the guy we couldn't do this without, our producer and tech guru, Max Crow, Kina's youngest son.
Hi, everybody.
Hi, Max.
All right, I'm out.
No kidding. We really couldn't do this without Max. So let us get right on with our show. And
Nice. Wow. I enjoyed that. It's such an impactful visual, as we know, when artwork is placed in a room, how it fills it, how it defines it, how it can change it, how it lifts it. And who doesn't like to get some ideas for their own home, right? Thanks for that, Chris. Thanks for putting that together.
Thank you.
Yeah.
That was awesome.
I think it's so great to be able to see the scale too, right? When everything's on the computer screen, everything's just as big as your computer screen,
Absolutely.
right?
And then, we know that when we're at shows and there's collectors interested in seeing a piece in their home, we know that's always a great idea and a great opportunity to go there and get your piece in their home, because it can change how they see it, how they view it. So that was nice. Thanks. Now it's time to ask a collector. Last week, we posed the question, do you have any found art? And where did you find it? So thanks for the responses. Here are some of what we got. Tim Richardson, not sure if this counts as found, as they were never really lost, but I had my husband's well-worn childhood lederhosen framed. And yes, in
That's
that box
awesome.
is a picture of lederhosen. You know what? Go and check out in the comment section the photo if you want to get a closer look at those lederhosen. Spot on. I love that. Great. Maria Hannon, sort of a tin ceiling tile from a building in my tiny Iowa hometown. A good family friend owns the building and had taken some out, so we got one. It's from the late 1800s. Love that. A great memory for a friend's building. And then Angela Lupton. I mounted a rusty shovel head on my wall. My daughter found it in a creek at the drive-in. They thought it was ancient, and when I informed them it wasn't, it was still very cool, they were bummed. So I made a frame and hung it on the wall, and we love it, and I love it. What a great idea.
That's awesome. I actually really like that too.
Yeah. Yep.
Right.
I would totally put that on my wall.
Yeah. I agree. We would too. And that's smart. Things that you love that hold some type of meaning, that's cherished, whatever its story, to frame it, to put it on the wall and give it its own, little space is a nice thing to do.
And how much fun is that going to be when those girls get older? When those girls get older,
it's going to be so great. I have a similar story in my family too. But this week we have another question for you, and this week is, what is your favorite piece of art? So it could be anything. It could be anything. Okay, I'm going to put you on the spot, Beth. What is your favorite? I know it's hard to pick, huh?
It is, and we kind of reviewed the question earlier, and I thought, I got so much time to think about this. And yeah, every time I turn and look at something in my house, I'm like, it's that. I will settle on, at the moment, it's a photograph by a black and white photograph by an artist named Mike Garlington. He's in California. It was the inspiration. His photography was the inspiration for Mark and I to build our chapel that we got married in. And then that's a whole different story. But we saw this photo chapel he built, and we built our own. And then as a wedding gift for Mark, I got one of his photographs.
Oh, that's awesome.
And so at the moment, I'm going to say that one.
Right.
How about you, Chris?
Well, I think one of the things that really speaks to, and it's true for me too, is that context, right? It's context and story. So my favorite changes based on the context. So I don't know if you'll be able to see this. I've not practiced holding it up for the camera, but tonight, my favorite is actually a painting of Beth's. You see this girl with her fingers, all of her fingers crossed, her arms crossed. Her eyes crossed, everything crossed, right? So tonight, this is my absolute favorite with everything crossed.
Is that the piece? It's called Double Crossed? Is that right? Yeah. Oh, I love it.
Yeah,
Yeah. That's awesome.
And how about you, Kina?
I think, it's weird. I started thinking about this too, but I think like my pieces of art are a lot like my kids. So like I have my favorite from last year and I have my favorite from the year before. You're going to see one of my most favorites tonight because I actually sat around and went, okay, there's a fire. Which piece do I grab? I can only grab one piece. Which do I grab? I would likely be downstairs in my mind. So you're going to see this in my video coming up. But now first, before we do that, we have a Seesaw Surfs the Web. Our wonderful, wonderful friend, bookmaker from Austin, Mychal Mitchell, has agreed to let us show her video. So let's take a peek at that real quick.
So after graduating from college, I went backpacking around Europe. In my 5th month of backpacking, I was in Italy and had my backpack stolen by a little gypsy boy there. And he was probably 7, so he was itty bitty and he was gone. Yeah, everything was replaceable, but except for my journal. And probably, took all the things that he could sell, my Walkman and my camera, and probably just tossed my journal in the dumpster. Oh, crushing. So desperate for a new journal, I went looking for a new one in Venice and ended up meeting a bookbinder there who sort of took me under his wing and let me hang out with him in the back of his shop and showed me how to make this old Italian style of bookbinding. They were the most beautiful things I'd ever seen. I mean, I had this romantic idea of what a journal should look like, and this was it. And I bought a book from him, and I filled it pretty quickly once I got back to the States, and then nothing else would do. I needed a book like that again, but it's like, well, gosh, I guess I could make one. And so I bought some leather and some watercolor paper, and I just started making them for friends and for gifts, and it just kind of grew and grew by accident. My name is Mychal Mitchell, and I'm a bookbinder in Austin, Texas, and I've been making books for about almost 23 years now. I've been able to create the exact life that I want because of that little gypsy boy. And it's kind of crazy. And it sucked at the moment, but man, I wouldn't trade it for anything now. Hallelujah.
What would you say to him?
Grazie.
Nice.
I love Mychal's books and have used one faithfully for almost 20 years now. I've known Mychal. How about y'all? Are y'all journalers or writers?
I'm totally a journaler. And it's funny. A couple of years ago, I bought a friend one of her books with that same kind of clasp, which is so cool. But I find when they're the precious handmade books, it has to be something really important for me. They're gorgeous.
I love what Mychal says about in generations to come, even your grocery list will become precious. And I think thinking about that today and thinking about how,
I like that.
Like my grandmother's handwriting on a recipe card, or her calling it oleo. I mean, whatever right, is precious. The everyday, it was every day to her, right? But it's now precious to me. So
right, oleo margarine, right?
And I love the idea of journaling. I end up filling it, doodling. So it just ends up a lot of scrawls and scribbles, but nothing wrong with that either. So
Right. And I adore Mychal. Right.
she's wonderful. So this week, you guys, we have a new cocktail pairing. It's by our friend, writer and editor, Steph Kilen. This pairs well with days getting shorter and the weather getting colder, and you're relaxing at home looking for the perfect cocktail. So here's Steph to tell you about this week's cocktail.
Hi friends, it's Steph Kilen and this is the Seesaw Project cocktail pairing. Today we're going to make my go-to cold weather cocktail. It's the kind of thing that you go, hi honey, how was your day? Tell me all about it. Have a little cheese, have this nice cocktail I made for you. It was actually created by my lovely husband, Nathan, and it's a little bit Manhattan and it's a little bit of Sazerac. So we just call it the Manhattan-arac. And so we have our glass of ice and we're going to pour in 1.5 ounces of rye and 1 ounce of sweet vermouth, and put in a couple dashes of Peychaud's bitters. And then it's time for the secret ingredient, which is absinthe. And like any secret ingredient, you want just a hint of the flavor. So we're going to do a rinse. To do that, just put a couple drops of absinthe in the glass, and then you swirl it around to coat everything, dump out the excess. And then we're going to stir up the goodies in here. Strain it into our fancy pants glass. And we're all set. So cheers all y'all. Happy hunkering down.
Thank you, Steph. You know what? She teaches us the coolest stuff. I never knew all of this stuff. I didn't know that thing about a rinse. I wish I could get some old school absinthe. That'd be super awesome. And may I just say, cutest sweater ever, Steph. I love that. And thank you so much for doing these for us. Everybody really loves these. So we really appreciate it. I would like to just say hi for 1 second to some people who are joining us. Benjamin, Mary, Sarah, and Jean. Thank you guys. Thanks for coming in on this lovely Thursday night where we are living with art. And we thought this was kind of a cool thing to do, where we get to celebrate and talk about the things that we live with every day. And I mean, I'm voracious when it comes to art, but not just as, the amazing things that I have hanging on my wall, the things that I interact with every day, because they make my life feel really rich. And I don't mean rich as in a monetary sense, but more like rich, like lava cake, chocolate lava cake, like rich and juicy and really abundant and wonderful. So I made a little video to show you some of the things that I live with every day. So come take a look at that. This is my super cute friend, Sarah Dudgeon from Amory, Wisconsin. She makes wood-fired pottery in a kiln that is larger than my bedroom closet. She has to stay up for nearly 30 hours and keep feeding it wood during the firing process, but it's well worth the while because her pottery is absolutely wonderful. She sells her work out of this charming old mercantile store that she converted into her house/studio/gallery space. And every time I visit, I have to come home with something new. I have to. So I cleaned up a few corners of my house so I could show you some of my collection. This is my kitchen where we keep all sorts of little handy pots that Sarah's made. Garlic, flour, salt, pepper, all of our herbs and spices, bottles for oil, handy little pitchers for mixing things. And they're all right here on top of our stove, which, yeah, I need a backsplash. It's been only 13 years since we've been here. I'll get one installed one of these days, but she even made these cool little spoons. I love these. One of my other favorite things that she makes are these wall planters, which I think are made for outside, but I use them inside with floral foam, and you can keep them wet and fresh and they won't drip all over the floor. I love that. It's next to one of my favorite paintings by my friend Jolene Dames. And I have a couple other pieces that I wanted to show you. Yeah, here's where the hoarding issue comes in. But we have a big family. This is my dining room table. It's 10 feet long. Comfortably seats 12, but we can squeeze 14 in at a pinch. And I've got plates and cups. And the thing that I love about her pottery is that they're all different colors. They're all completely unique, but they all go together. I love drinking soup out of those big cups. I've got these little plates. These are perfect when I serve like appetizers, hors d'oeuvres. This is one of my favorites. The oblong one. I love these Dutch ovens. You can even put those in the oven and keep things warm. I have to have a pitcher. I love the little pitchers. I have a thing for the little pitchers. I don't know what that's about. Lots of bowls. My favorite big platter. Although when it's covered with food, you can't see how pretty it is. Perfect little casserole dish for personal size mac and cheese, or little bowls if you want an actual serving of ice cream. I use this as a gravy boat. I love that. A big pitcher. Always have water, fresh water on the table when we have company. And I love this serving dish because it's got this foot on it. It's really cool. And I love her designs because they're earthy, but they're still really modern. I love this oblong dish. And this is maybe my favorite plate with the sandpipers. Little cups. I love these little tiny pots that have crushed melted glass on the inside. Little plates for little desserts. I love these tumblers too. No handle. Fill that up with some whiskey. Love this. It's got a little handle. It's really handy for like whipping up some eggs, pouring them right in, making omelets. Cookie jars, more plates. I love the colors. I just think they fit so well in my home. Occasionally, I do cheat on Sarah with other people's pottery. And here's a few other pieces that I have. I discovered this new potter that I didn't know, Jessica Wirtz, and I love these tumblers. This texture on here means you never drop your wine glass. It'll never fall out. And these little treasures were made by my favorite potter, my mother, Sybil Flower, as well as our favorite butter dish made by my son, Max Crow. And this is the wonderful work of Nathan Falter, who I need some more of his. Yeah. And this is another way that I live with art every single day. I love this book. It's one of my prized possessions. It's a book by photographer Maggie Taylor. Look at it. It's got these ribbons for bookmarks. It's completely gilded all the way around on all of the pages. And it's one of my favorite things. I look at this book every single morning. I sit in my living room and I look at this book every single day, sometimes even at night. And these pages to me are just magical. The title of this book is called No Ordinary Days. I have several of her books, but this is absolutely my most favorite. And I I never get tired of it. If you have never seen her work, please go take a look at MaggieTaylor.com. You'll be mesmerized. Each one is just better than the next. It's surreal and fantasy-like, but I think it might be the color that I love the most about these images. I'm going to show you my favorite one. Oh, I love that one. Yeah, this is the page. When I get to the end, now what? Right? Now what? It's perfect. Perfect for these times for sure. It's one of my favorite treasures. And I have to show you this because he's sort of the pride of my dining room. This is Midget by John Whipple. He's got this little feed me food trough, and my son's little girl, it also came with this little cup. Every time she comes over, she has to put a couple of peanuts up there. Occasionally I'll walk by and it's overflowing. He is the world's smallest elephant, and he is so happy to be living at my house. And I love the backdrop of my grandmother's quilt that she made. It's perfect for him. Thank you so much for coming to my home today. And if you want to check out some of these incredible artists that I'm completely obsessed with, you can find more of their work here. So is there a hoarding issue?
No.
No.
The thing is, I just want more.
Well, let's start with that. Let's start with what a beautiful pottery collection. And my first thought is, where do you put the pottery collection? That gorgeous collection. Where do you put it?
So on the other side of that dining room table, which is like 10 feet long, there's a huge bay window. It's where Mark Winter, the devil that I have in there. And then, so the big pieces go in there, like on display. So they're there all the time. Some of it's kind of on a display under the buffet, and then the rest is in my kitchen, unless my son Max has a few pieces that are permanently on loan. So, but every time I look, on her Instagram or her website, there's like a new thing that she's making that I really, really want. And we didn't get to go this year, which is a bummer, but she's only about 50 minutes outside of Minneapolis. So if you are, anywhere near there, it is so worth the trip. She'll make a special appointment and you could come see her, and her whole place is really adorable. And she's like a real live human sprite of a person. She's like the cheeriest, funnest.
The mix and match of patterns.
I know.
It's beautiful.
Thanks, Beth. I love them. I really do.
Nice.
And I never get tired of them.
Isn't it that the fun of building a relationship with an artist too is like watching the progression of the work? Like, of course you want like the new work, right? Because it's evolving and growing as she's.
And that's like a 12-year, I think 11 or 12-year collection. So it was just like, a few here, a few there. But it's always so exciting for me to like get the new pieces, get the new treasures. And anyway, I love that. And then you saw one of my two favorite pieces is that little elephant of John Whipple's. Of course, I'm insane for John's work, and I do have a painting upstairs that's my other favorite. So I think I need two hands if there's a fire. I need to like give both of them out.
And then I wanted to ask you about the Maggie Taylor book. Of course, as a photographer, I've been following Maggie for a long time. So tell me, like, how do you think that impacts your day in the studio to start kind of with that ritual of visiting her book every
I
morning?
love that. And I know it's weird, but I get my coffee every morning and I sit on the living room floor and I look at that book. And I've had that book now for a couple of years. And I just think, I mean, I love her imagery so much. And I think I discovered her work maybe about 14 or 15 years ago. And I've just been like, I can't get enough of it. But when I got that book in itself is a piece of art. It's so beautiful how it was designed and made. And I go through the whole book. I look at every single page, every single day. And I love that it's titled No Ordinary Days. So it just reminds me, don't make this an ordinary day, you know, never know when it might be the last one too. So, and then I get to the end of it and I'm like, now what? It's like, now what? Okay. And so it's inspirational to me. So, anyway, I love that. But
I can see why that'd be an amazing way to start the day. And
she was super, super nice when I contacted her and asked if we could share it. She was like, yes, please. So go visit MaggieTaylor.com. You guys will love her work. And now I'm super excited because we get to see what Beth has.
Let me just point out that Sarah is here in the comments. Sarah, and she says, if you all could only see how many Kina Crow pieces that I have. So it sounds like the love is mutual, which is really, really fun.
And she says she needs a John Whipple piece in her life, and it's true. Everybody does.
Everyone does.
Everybody does.
And before we start on mine, just real quick, I'm going to place an order for one Max Crow butter dish. Thank you very much. Fantastic.
I'm going to make him make you
Get
one.
on that, Max.
Come into the studio and make you one.
Yeah.
Yeah. How do you live with art?
Yeah. I say we just start my video. It's my turn up. Let's do it. I didn't know what to do. This is what came up. Here we go. Hey, Mark.
Oh, hey, Beth. So you want to talk about art?
I do, or more specifically about how we incorporate art into our everyday lives.
No, that should be easy. We have a lot of it.
We do.
I like making it. I like buying it. I like selling it. I like thinking about it. I like finding it.
I know that discovery, right? That finding that piece of art that you can't wait to bring into your home. Love it.
Yeah.
And timely, right? We're spending more time at home. Why wouldn't you want to surround yourself with things you love?
Can you imagine living in a home with things you hate?
I can't.
Who does that?
Nobody.
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 I hope not. First off, masks are important. We got our masks.
Check.
And let me just say, these masks were made by Jeremy Wolf in Milwaukee.
Ooh, and we also have fire. Fire's important.
Check.
And we have our chimenea made by Damien Velasquez. Hot.
Do you have any idea what we should show?
Don't know.
I don't know.
Don't know.
I don't know.
I don't know.
All right, let's go inside and we'll figure this out.
So, Beth, have you noticed how much we use our chalkboard?
Yeah, we do, don't we?
Mm-hmm.
Center of the room, we kind of
Right.
gravitate toward it.
It's always changing.
Yeah, we're drawing on
It's a
it,
message board,
welcoming people.
Pictionary.
Everybody kind of goes to the chalkboard right away.
Yeah.
I
It's a lot
love the
of fun.
chalkboard.
I think it's really important. It's an
I
important piece of art in our house.
I agree.
Yeah, cool.
That still makes me laugh.
You'd be surprised how many people it fools.
I know, right? I love our Chris Miller piece. And he's in Milwaukee.
I remember just starting out doing art fairs, and I was at art fair off the square in Madison, and I walked over to the big kids show, art fair on the square, and I saw this and went, wink, and it was $600, and his name was Kemper, and I was so excited, and I still love it today. Okay, kitchen time.
And we're in our kitchen.
We are.
Enjoying it.
Can you believe it?
I can't.
Our kitchen was so bad, it so sucked for so long.
And we made it better. I mean, you needed more space.
I needed more space. I needed counter space to cook. I love to cook, so I made more counter space.
Yeah.
Took the old bowling alley lane
Made it into an island.
and made an island.
I love the idea that the seats tuck away for more room.
It's got secret skillet storage that you can't even see.
It's a good space.
Yeah. So happy we took down those god-awful cabinets and put the shelves up.
I know. You know, with the old kitchen, people, they wanted to be in here regardless of how bad it was. Why?
Because there's food in here.
I took food away from people. They still wanted to be in the kitchen. So
Yeah,
I'm
well.
just happy now that we have things on the shelves that we love.
Yeah.
And it's comfortable in here.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love that we can put things on the shelves, this combination of functional, like the bowls,
A clear robot holding a pistol.
very necessary. Got that really cute berry bowl, the colander to rinse our fruit, and then art show mugs next to this beautiful Brianna Martre piece.
A very, very fragile glass octopus.
Mhm.
That comes in handy.
Just the idea that we can interchange the artwork, the pieces on the counter, just surround ourselves with things we love. It just makes the kitchen so inviting and a place you want to be.
Right. And make food.
So when we think about what we surround ourselves with, there's one piece in particular, one of the most recent additions to our collection, that I find myself drawn to. It's a sculpture by Harriet Schwartzrock. She's a neon artist from Australia, and I think it says it all. Home is where the heart is.
Hello? Yeah. Yeah, I early voted. It's over. It's done. Stop calling here. Holy shit.
Oh,
That was so awesome.
one of
Yeah.
my absolute favorite things about travel, and something I'm missing, is going to all of our artist friends' homes and seeing their collections, right? So what a treat. I haven't been to Milwaukee in a couple of years, so I haven't seen
I've
several of
never
those
been.
pieces.
I've never been to your house, but I have to say, I'm sitting here watching the video and I hear this giggling over there, and Hannah is seeing it for the first time, and she's in the corner going, hysterical. But I don't know that we would expect anything else out of you.
But our collection, we have like you, Kina, Chris, other artists whose home we go to. The collection is, I love it, and every room is just rich with art. And how do you tell that story? You know, when we brought up the idea of doing this, it really overwhelmed me, because I just would wander through rooms, and how do you not show every piece? And I thought, well, let's just do a little tick off of it and maybe there's more for another day.
The bird masks are outrageous. I want one now. I really do. Like, we need a couple of crow heads. We
Right.
really do.
So now those normally hang on the wall, right? Are those in your those are hang in your stairway, right?
Yeah. Yep. And the what a wonderful, we got them. He's a Milwaukee artist. We got them at a gallery show, the opening that he had. And the fantastic thing, huge space. They were on these huge columns, and you could pick a mask up and wander around during the show with the mask on. And they're just beautiful, lightweight, comfortable.
I loved how many times you said, and they're a Milwaukee artist. So I love that you're engaged and supporting the Milwaukee artists. So do you buy most of your work in Milwaukee, or like where do you collect?
Honestly, it's something that's always on our minds. When we're out and about, if we're traveling, we go into galleries. If we're here at home, we go to the shows and exhibits and openings and on the road. So it's just, we get it from everywhere. And I would say close to half of what we have is a Milwaukee artist. And just nothing makes me happier than showcasing other, artists' work that I just love. Nothing makes me happier than giving the tour of the home and pointing out each name and who they are and it brings me and Mark a lot of happiness, a lot of joy.
I loved that Mark showed that big piece of Kemper's. So, I've bought things like here and there on my own over the years, but our Kempers, we have 3, are the first pieces that Lex and I ever bought together when we met him at Cherry Creek. So I'm curious, are your decisions, are they independent? Do you make a lot of your like collection decisions together, or?
Not necessarily. Mark and I actually have really similar taste. So we may see a piece and kind of look at each other, just which one do you like? And it typically is the same piece. But yeah, if there was a piece Mark loved, I would never question it. It's just like, if that is connecting with you, if you love that, absolutely. If you want to get it. So, it's that there wouldn't be a piece that I would say, nope, that doesn't go in the house, or doesn't fit or anything. But thank goodness we similar tastes, similar,
And can I do we get on a list to order some Mark Winter furniture? I love that bowling alley counter. It's amazing with the little flip out seats.
Yeah. He's really busy lately doing for the other space that we will have. We're going to try and make as much as we can. So I don't know how he feels about it, but he's making side tables and he's going to make a bed frame, and so why not, right?
Awesome. Oh, I want to come. It's only 10 hours, I think, 10 or 12.
It's an easy ride, It's an easy ride. Come on over.
I know. It's a rich life. How fun.
We'll get you a mask. We'll have our masks on. We'll get you a mask. We'll all be good.
Well, I'm excited to introduce y'all to my community and show you how that I live with art. Kyla and I live with art, because to see my collection is really to, I feel like, to meet my community, right? And so without further ado, let's meet my community of artists that I live with. In 2002, Kyle and I did what so many artists do and bought a building in an upcoming neighborhood, Columbus Park. It was in need of much work and provided us the raw material to apply our skills, creative vision, and hard work to make a place that suited us in every way. We took this 1890s building all the way down to bare brick, and over the course of 3 years, we put it back together again with our own hands and the occasional help of underemployed artists. It provided us with a container to fill with not only our creative energy, but the creativity of the talented artists we are lucky enough to call our friends. Each piece of art we put in our home, whether aesthetic or utilitarian, represents an artist, their energy, a unique view of the world, their story, and our relationship to them. Living with art is more than living with objects. It is living with artists and the creative energy they bring to your home. Our raw brick walls provide a great contrast for framed artwork, including this beautiful watercolor painting by Kemper, and this textile piece by Holly Swings Too. And at times, pieces of mine that I need to spend time with find a place on our walls. But for us, living with art is much more than living with it on the walls. It is also woven into every aspect of our home and drove the design of much of it. For instance, the woodcuts of Sung Lee, they inform the color palette that we would use throughout the house. And look at the beautiful coffee table by Greg Clausen. It drove the second floor seating area. But more than just a beautiful table, the table carries the story of meeting Greg at one of his first art festivals and then watching his career and his family grow as he reached international acclaim. Or ceramicist Connor Burns. We designed our guest bath around his pottery. I adore Connor and his soft-spoken Southern charm. And the elegant lines and delicacy of his ceramics provided a great counterpoint to the romper room aesthetic of the rest of our house. We asked him if he would or could make a sink for us, and having not made one previously, he began experimenting. A couple of iterations later, and we had a sink to design the room around, including this fabulous photograph of my grandfather, which is one of my prized possessions. The curved wall that we employed to break up a rather square space is somewhat difficult to hang artwork on, but it becomes the perfect home for a large set of Gregory Story's wall balls. And all the natural light the room gets from 3 directions means that the wall balls create a changing shadow pattern on the wall. Even our bed, along with the kitchen stools downstairs, were handmade by another good friend, Damien Velasquez of Albuquerque, New Mexico. Everywhere we look, there are artists around us. Our kitchen cabinets open with custom-made pulls by glass artist Bob Gent to reveal our everyday mugs and bowls by Meredith Host, Deb Lier, Kathy Broski, Justin Tillett, and others. Even the towels used to dry those dishes are handmade by weaver Beth Bojarski, who has recently moved back to Nova Scotia. Living with art and using it every day is living with artists, from my first coffee in the morning to going to bed at night. It fills my home with their creative voices, energy, and personalities. The irreverence of Lori Ray Erickson, the evocativeness of Kathy Rose, and the precision craftsmanship of Chris Chapin. The playful eyes of Ed Brownlee and Jenny Mendez as I do the dishes. The reminders from Kina Crow not to take myself too seriously. And the work of Amy Arnold that greets me in the morning. But living with art isn't confined to our home or even finished pieces. The cast-offs or remnants of artwork can find a useful and decorative life around our place. Like these remaining copper pieces from my early work that were put into the fence to provide a bit of privacy and then allowed to age and weather in the elements. The cast-off aluminum sheets that we used to clad our kayak garage, or the bottle caps that remind us of the drinks shared with all of our artist friends on this porch, and also usher you up the stairs to the music studio. Because of course, being married to a musician for over half my life means that visual art isn't the only art that surrounds me. I also have a soundtrack. both Kyle's music and that of our ridiculously talented friends. Live performances in venues large and small, rehearsals and recordings happening in the studio behind our house, or private yard concerts performed by guitarist Bo Bledsoe and his son Aiden during the pandemic. I live with art and music surrounding me every day.
Aren't we lucky?
We're so lucky. An embarrassment of riches, really.
I know, so rich. I
Right?
was gonna say, like, you are so rich. You're so
Right?
rich. What a rich, wonderful, amazing, amazing life. I love that, Chris. Thank you.
Mm.
Thank
Your
you.
home is so welcoming. And we all know, I mean, as artists, we all know that. We've been to Chris's home and it's fantastic. Where's the Titanic saw? I didn't see that before.
Oh, it's above the front door upstairs.
Okay, that's why. Yeah, I've never seen that.
Where is
I've never seen that either. Yeah.
Isn't
Yeah.
that fantastic? That's was painted by one of our neighbors' dads.
Really? Oh, yeah, yeah.
And I don't think are the bottle cap, the cladding on the bottle caps on the steps, is that
So
new?
we completely redid our porch this summer.
Okay.
That is part of the pandemic renovation of the back porch.
Awesome. It's
Yeah.
awesome. Absolutely love that. But I have to say, and we've been Chris is, a lot of us have been to Chris's home, and it's gorgeous. It's like amazing. I loved being able to see what it looked like before, because I'd never seen pictures of the inside. But I think it's interesting that, like, you describe it as like romper room aesthetics. And I don't know. I mean, to me, it's just, fun and colorful and full of life, but it's so different from your work.
Mhm.
And I'm curious about that.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I mean, maybe we ought not to talk too much about it. I'm afraid one of you might send me a therapy bill, but I think at the root of it, it is, my work is in some ways a response to it. My work is opposite of a lot of things about my life, and I think it speaks to the kind of public and the private life. I think my work is more a reflection of my private life, and our home kind of more the public life. But for instance, my work is really these spacious, wide open places, but our home is surrounded by concrete. We're adjacent to downtown. We've got 0 lot lines. So, our neighbor property begins at the exterior wall of our house. And so, so then I think the work is a response to that. Or all the time we spend seeing live music. Pre-pandemic, we could end up at live music 3, 4, 5 nights a week. And so then my work is kind of the response to that, the really quiet space, the recharging space that I need because of all of that energy.
Right. And the fact that you bring music into your video and speak to it, because we all know you and Kyle, and music is so, it plays an equal role. So I love that you brought that in. We should bring more music in. So right, pandemic, how has that changed? It's been concerts, some outdoor concerts.
Well, we're lucky. In our neighborhood, we've got quite a few really talented musicians that are right here in the neighborhood, as well as all of our friends. And so there's been a lot just happening kind of impromptu on the sidewalk, and I saw the photo of our friend Bo, but there's been a little more formal stuff happening in the neighborhood, just on the sidewalks. And then we've got some some great venues in town that we're so proud of for how well they've transitioned. And it feels like lately, because winter is upon us, there's been even more and more music happening because everyone's kind of trying to get it in because so much of it's happening outdoors right now. So remains to be seen what will happen over the winter, but some people are making some great pivots and some great choices for us to be able to safely see music. So shout out to those venue owners who are also in large part music, at least the ones where Kyle plays are largely musicians as well. The venue owners are, so they understand that component of it.
Well, I can't wait to put my actual feet on those bottle cap steps.
Yeah. Well, I can't wait. I mean, normally in the fall we have a porch full of artists that are traveling around the country, and so I'm looking forward to sharing the new renovated porch with y'all. But I think the other thing about including music in this video or talking about it is that I don't know that I've talked about it on the show, but I've been involved in a program called Artist Inc. for over a decade, where we don't really make any distinction between artists, musicians, performers, actors. It's all art, right? And so there's really not a line for us between visual art and music and writing and theater. It's, and because of that, in Kansas City, there's so many rich collaborations happening between all the different artistic disciplines. But
Kansas City is really good for that. It really is. It's super, super rich in art. And I think that's what makes our life, like everybody's life. Of course, that's how I think, right? That's what makes our life rich. Are all this wonderful art. So thank you guys, everybody who was able to show up tonight. That was so awesome. Thank you, Chris. What a beautiful video. We're almost up on our hour, so we should talk about what's coming up next, because it's going to be really good. I can't wait for you guys to see this and see the wonderful work of Helen Gottlieb. And maybe we'll even get to see how she makes it. I'm not sure what she's going to do, but I'm super excited. November 19th. And then I'm super excited to see this because we're not sure what we're going to do yet. So it's a surprise, just like a little present there. Like we'll unwrap it on December 3rd. And then we're going to wrap up the end of the year with our wonderful friend, Scott Hildebrandt, AKA Mr. Christmas, on December 17th. Please don't miss this one. It's going to be really great. His stuff is fascinating. So anyway.
Yeah, so many good shows coming up. And if you like the shows that you've seen and you've missed some, go back on YouTube and check them out. All of them are archived there. We're now in our 9th episodes. We've got 8 prior episodes archived on YouTube. Subscribe to our YouTube channel and like our Facebook page. And if you're in a position to do so and you'd like to help us defray the cost of putting the show on, you can give us a donation of any size at Venmo, Seesaw Project, or there's a link in the comments to a shop. And we so appreciate your support.
We do. And then there's some thank yous that we need to give out today. Special thanks to Gregory Story, to Mark Winter, Kyle Dahlquist, and hey, Max Crow. Big thanks, Max. Also, we want to thank Mychal Mitchell of IonaHandcraftedBooks.com. That was a great video. And Steph Kilen, our cocktail maker. She's at StephKilen.com. And, within the videos, there were so many artists to be named. Just keep an eye on our Facebook page. We just hope to just keep spilling names out for you to check out, because there's a lot of them out there, everyone.
Right. We love our community.
We do.
We're so lucky. Thanks, you guys. Oh, Am I reading this one? I forget who. Oh, that's us. Beth Bojarski, BethBojarski.com, Kina Crow, KinaCrow.com, and Chris Dahlquist at ChrisDahlquist.com. Check us out too.
I love it. Oh shit, I love it.
Thanks for joining us tonight,
Everyone, guys.
Bye.
Have a nice night.